This one setting will transform your photos. Why 99% of photographers get this wrong. This pro tip will instantly improve your photography. The secret the pros don't want you to know. You've seen the titles, you've clicked on the thumbnails, you've skipped the Squarespace ad read, and 11 minutes later the payoff is 11 minutes of your life that you'll never get back. The vast majority of people responding to those clickbait titles are hobbyists, recreational shooters, people with an interest in photography as a means of enjoyment, not a payday. So my question is this: who cares how the pros do it? If I wanted advice on driving my commute, I wouldn't go asking Lewis bloody Hamilton. There's some awesome photography content on this platform, but if I've learned one thing since I first discovered YouTube many moons ago, it's that the most useful videos rarely have the word pro in the title. On the one hand, it's suggesting to the viewer that they are some unworthy neophyte, and their photography is obviously inferior to that produced by a pro photographer. On the other hand, it's suggesting that good photography can be yours if you just do this one simple thing. Hallelujah, the miracle fix. So what, my friends, is the source of the pro video here on YouTube? Seems to me that, broadly speaking, there are two flavors of pro photographer here on YouTube. There are those who were working photographers, people who made a living with a camera, and who've branched out into education and content creation as a side hustle. And then there are those who are first and foremost professional content creators. They didn't necessarily build a career in photography itself. They almost certainly came from an entirely different field, but now, with a solid subscriber base and a camera in hand, they wear the professional photographer label. Are there professional photographers on this platform producing genuinely useful, entertaining content? Absolutely. I follow a heap of them myself. Do they sometimes use the word pro in their video titles? Sure, occasionally. But, and here's why they're not always very useful videos, usually their content is aimed at people who want to go pro too, aspiring professional photographers, not casual hobbyists who just want to learn how to use the curves tool. The type of people using the word pro in their titles, because they have proper industry experience, usually have solid info for aspiring professionals. But I put it to you that the Venn diagram that describes the common ground between pros and hobbyists is an ellipse so fucking slim that it looks like a paper cut. The pro way, whether it's gear, software, or workflow, isn't arcane wisdom. I'd argue that quite a lot of it is irrelevant to anyone not shooting for the man. For a professional photographer, their camera equipment is simply a tool that enables them to do their job. It's not a badge, not a brand, it's not a flex. They need something that is first and foremost reliable. If they're a press or a event photographer, they need camera gear that is rugged, that can survive arduous physical conditions and which can be easily replaced. If they're a studio photographer, they need big sensors, pinpoint color accuracy, tethering, and perhaps a modular build so they can switch out backs or upgrade. There is a diminished aspirational element to the purchasing decision for a professional photographer when choosing cameras, lenses, flashes, tripods, or even SD cards. Do they aspire to own certain cameras and lenses? Yes, of course. But those aspirations are usually driven by practical considerations, and the brand name on the front, cost issues aside, is interchangeable. There's a reason so many non-studio-based photographers use Canon cameras. They're built like tanks. They're reliable, accessories are readily available, they're simple, and they're staggeringly unexciting. I used to work for a regional newspaper, and the gear cupboard was basically like a fucked up advert for retro Canon hardware. And while a hobbyist will surely appreciate a camera that is both reliable and rugged, there are a whole different set of criteria that go into their choice of camera brand and camera gear. I mean, cost for one. If you're a professional photographer, then spending 15 grand on an f2.8L Canon EF 400 is in the same territory as a chef spending thousands on Schoon blades. Would it be nice to have a 15 grand lens on the front of your camera? Of course. But will a model that costs 1/4 of that get you 99% of the way for the same kind of shots? Yes. Above all, professional gear is not a shortcut for better photographs, no matter what the photography influencers might tell you. There's an excellent channel here on YouTube that most definitely falls into the actually pro category I mentioned earlier. The bloke in question is the real deal, a working studio photographer with a long and storied client list who diversified into making YouTube videos. He is both sponsored by and a big supporter of Capture One. He's gone on the record as stating that it is the best photo editor of them all. And this is another one of the problems with the professional perspective. It's usually a highly constrained viewpoint because photographers tend to be specialists. The aforementioned photographer is basing his views on photographic work that takes place in a studio environment where he has absolute and total control over the light. But if you're a landscape photographer, you don't have the luxury of being able to turn the sun's power up and down, of having complete control over your environment. So then, is Capture One still the best choice for photographers not working in a studio? When it comes to something like dynamic range, other applications can pull more stops of light from raw photographs than Capture One. An app like Capture One is brutally expensive. It seems unfortunate that a hobbyist photographer, influenced by what the pros say, would spend the hard-earned cash on that app when a cheap or even open source app would do the job just as well, if not better. In the world of photography, these stated views of professionals often filter down and become this half-whispered gospel at all levels. But their criteria often pertain to professional requirements and a one-dimensional viewpoint that has no relevance to most hobbyists. If you're a hobbyist that only shoots portraits in a studio environment, then by all means, follow that guy's hard-won commercial advice. But if you favour literally any other kind of photographic niche, then seek alternative viewpoints before making any purchasing decisions. So where does that leave us, the weekend warriors, the 2 a.m. editors, the people photographing fungus or fence posts for no good reason at all? It leaves us with freedom. Freedom to not give a toss about industry standards, to embrace workflows that make no bloody sense to anyone but us, to choose a camera because it has one stupidly specific feature we love. The pro culture here on YouTube is a trend, one that causes people to obsess about shit that really doesn't matter. The pro secrets divulged in those videos are nearly always the same basic tips. Keep your ISO low for less noise in your photos, and never some Illuminati-grade knowledge that the dastardly professional photographers hand down to each other during perfectly lit bloodletting ceremonies. And here's where it gets properly mental. The obsession with pro methods extends way beyond gear and software into every tedious corner of the workflow. How many videos have you seen on this platform extolling the virtues of color calibration, perfecting your display profile settings, advice about spending thousands on high-end monitors? That sort of guff might be important if you're creating a brand-aligned catalogue photo shoot for a multinational food and beverage company, but it sure as shit doesn't matter if you're uploading to Flickr or sharing the odd print down at the local camera club. It's like fitness YouTubers flogging elite athlete routines to people who just want to lose their gut. Pro workflows are designed for commercial environments where brand consistency is crucial and they need to edit for speed. The average photographer doesn't need a streamlined editing workflow. They can spend all bloody night on a single shot if they want. The whole "this is how the pros do it" bollocks suggests that there's some linear progression in photography that begins the day you first pick up a camera and culminates in the day you have your passing out ceremony. Get handed your Canon 5D Mark III and go pro. The inference, of course, being that pros do the best work, and therefore that's what you should seek to attain once you've acquired all of the knowledge. But pros don't actually have to produce good work. They just need to produce work that meets their clients' expectations. Some of the best, most creatively satisfying work is done by people who never monetize it, not by people getting paid for it. So I say bollocks to the pros, the real ones, and the fake it till you make it variety. So-called pro knowledge, as presented here on YouTube, is just everyday knowledge dressed up with a superiority complex. There's nothing original about it, and there were no earth-shattering revelations. It's just the same old advice with a red band lens and a hipster beard. Ignore the thumbnails, skip the one weird trick, and don't stress about how the pros do it. You're not them. And honestly, legends, that's your biggest advantage. And that will do us for this video. Have you ever gleaned any useful information from a video with the word pro in the title? Or is it the same old rehashed tips you've seen 1,000 times already? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like. And if you got value from it, consider subscribing to my channel for more grounded and spin-free photo, video, and drone-related content. Till the next time, guys. Ta-ta.